This is one of the biggest, most talked about cars of the decade. Its engine and its performance are unlike anything else that's gone before it. And as a measure of engineering integrity, there really isn't much else quite like it. It is, of course, the successor to the Bugatti Chiron, a car which we're going to detail right here, right now. You've been waiting for it for a long time. I've been waiting for it for a long time too. So let's get right down to business.
It's called the Tourbillon, sorry for the accent, and what it is a 276 mph two-seater and the first Bugatti in 20 years to not be powered by a W16 engine.
That's because it draws its power from this 8.3 litre naturally aspirated V16, which by the way measures 1 metre long. And sure, that might mean that the 4 turbochargers we're so used to hearing about from the Veyron and the Chiron might be gone, but in their place sits the lightning quick reactions of 3 electric motors, 2 on the front axle and 1 on the rear. Now that of course makes it a hybrid, but it's a hybrid that develops 1775 brake horsepower and goes on to a top speed of 276 miles an hour. To put that into perspective, the last Chiron Supersport maxed out at 273. So can you imagine how fast a Supersport version of this car would be?
Oh, and in case you wondered, here's what that engine sounds like. We don't know exact weight figures yet, but here are some performance stats. It gets from 0 to 62 miles an hour in 2 seconds. It gets from 0 to 125 miles an hour in less than 5 seconds. And, wait for it, 0 to 248 miles an hour in under 25 seconds.
Its development team were tasked with manufacturing a car that can handle sheer aerodynamic forces, whilst also the intense heat of a V16 engine, motors and a 25 kilowatt hour battery, whilst also making it look like something that's unlikely to age. So, its entire design is inspired by Bugattis of old. It has a character line that goes right to the middle of the car that's designed to look like rivets, like it's been riveted together. Of course at the front you get the classic Bugatti horseshoe, and the front itself is quite squat. And then at the rear you get a huge rear diffuser, which is handy at top speed when you're going 130 meters a second.
Inside, Bugatti has resisted the temptation to use oversized touchscreens, because it imagines this car as something that will sit on the Concours d'Elegance lawn in 100 years' time and not look outdated. In fact, the only screen is a display that's hidden from view unless you press a button in the centre console when you want to use it.
That means it's quite traditional, but traditional doesn't have to mean old-fashioned. Take the driver's display for example. It's made up of 600 individual parts, including titanium, ruby and sapphire. You might imagine then that it's probably one of the heaviest driver's displays around, but it actually weighs just 700 grams. And on the centre console, you get a collection of milled aluminium, leather and crystal glass to make it feel and smell exactly as a Bugatti should. And you'll notice as well that you can see the inner workings of the buttons and switches to give it, as I say, a more traditional feel. I personally could look at this for hours. The engine start-stop button as well. This is meant to be inspired by the ritual that you might go through when starting cars, older Bugattis. So to start the engine, you take the start-stop button, you pull it out again, and it starts up. To turn it off, you hit it.
But while some parts of the car hark back to the past, its construction is anything but traditional. Its body is made of carbon composites, and its multi-link suspension arms have been 3D printed in aluminium, making it nearly half as light as the same components used in the Chiron.
You must be wondering at this point then, how do I get one? Well, 250 of these will be made at a price of £3.2 million. but every last one of them has now sold. Even more upsetting though is the fact that that's all we have time for today. Thank you very much for watching. You can find all the information you need to know about this car at autocar.co.uk, or if you visit themagazineshop.com, you can find all the information about Autocar subscriptions and the archive. In the meantime though, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.